Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my story. And just to reintroduce myself, my name is Simbala Desio, and I am continuing the recounting of my story, Awakening into the Void. This is part 8. So, to continue where I left off, I had just moved back to Northern California with my mother. And prior to that, I actually got a job to do a mural in Long Beach. So on my way back up north, I was able to do this job and then head back up north with some friends. And by doing that job, it further validated that yes, I can be an artist for my career. For the longest, I believed and was told and was taught that you have to be logical, and being an artist is not a logical career choice. And if I want to be an artist, I have to be like a graphic designer, or even that, is not guaranteed. So there was such a negative outlook on how creatives could get by in the world. And the idea of it being possible was just it was always like a long shot, that was just what I was taught for the longest. So now that I could see that window open a little bit of like, oh, it actually is possible. Like, I just got a job. Like, I just did this mural in Long Beach and he paid me, So it was like proof, like I'm getting paid for my art. So moving back to Northern California with my mom was interesting, because it was like, whew, okay, I haven't lived at home with a parental figure for, let's see, about 7 years. And I was so used to doing things, without having to answer to anybody. And to be living in her space and with her rules and all of this stuff was just kind of like, it was a lot to take on. My self-esteem definitely took a hit in that moment, because it felt very infantile to have to rely on my parent at that stage in my life. I thought that I should be a lot further along in life, and I shouldn't have to live with my mother. Like, this feels very slightly humiliating. I just felt very small. And so my immediate action in moving to her house was to get a job as fast as possible. And luckily, she found a farm where I could continue volunteering, because the act of volunteering, giving back, just gave me such a sense of purpose, and it really grounded me. It gave me some stability in my life. And so I had the farm as a distraction from living at my mom's house. So that was a good thing. And she let me work for her sometimes. She had a business, and so I would, come and work for her at times. And eventually I hustled and I got a job. And it was really close to my mom's house, so it was very practical, and they paid really well. My sister had worked there before, so she kind of got me in the door. She's a really good relationship with the owners. And so I started working at this fashion warehouse. It was a shipping and processing online business. So our jobs was to get orders together, package them, get the shipping labels ready, ship them out, work in receiving. I mean, it was a huge operation. There was a lot going on, and it was a growing operation at that. It was good to finally have a job and get things going financially. But unfortunately, because I started working this job, my business plans just slowly started slipping away, falling by the wayside, you know. And to me at the time, it just didn't matter because I needed to continue hustling and save my money because I wanted to move out and move in with friends. And so it was just very tunnel vision when I got back to the Northern California. And the town that I was living in, one of the reasons why I ran off to San Diego to begin with was because this particular town it's like a party mecca. Um, there's a university there. It's known for partying, known for drugs, known for um, actually rape culture. It's it's pretty intense, and I really wanted to escape that environment because I felt like I was drowning in it. So to come back there while I'm still shaky and trying to develop my sense of self was it was definitely a test. It was a test. Now I can call it that. And I was put right back into the same environment that I left before, which was the partying and the drinking and the debaucherous behavior, you know, one night stands or frivolous love affairs, just all of what I was building in San Diego was slowly drizzling away. And I was letting it because what I noticed when I got back to Northern California was that I was different from my friends now. Like we no longer had things in common that we did before. Like San Diego had changed me, you know. Southern California is very different from Northern California. I had to kind of evolve or how do I say? I had to conform to a degree when I was in San Diego to survive. So in moving back to Northern California, I had to do that again to conform to survive with my group of friends. And I do recall talking about, you know, they was like, oh, let's go out, let's go party, da da da, you know, and I'm just like, well, I really want to work on this art business. Like, I need to get to work. I need to focus on that. And they would make fun of me. Like, well, what are you talking about? Like, almost like shaming me, you know, that almost as if I think I'm better than everyone for wanting to achieve this goal, as opposed to go out and party. So this is not to shame my friends or speak ill of them, because we are all at different levels of consciousness and and self-awareness and awakening. And I was not clear on what was going on with me, so I couldn't share that with them, and I didn't know how to draw boundaries either, so I couldn't draw boundaries with them. So as a result, I allowed myself to be pushed and pulled in directions that weren't necessarily good for my growth and expansion. So in moving back to Northern California, I got back into the partying and just the lifestyle it's just go nowhere lifestyle. So I after so long of working at this job, I was able to get some other friends, one of my sisters, a job there too. And she and I are the same age, so we, now that we were working together, you know, we could start saving up money, and then it was like a plan to get a place together. So it's like, okay, now she and I can get a place, we can invite two of our other friends, and now we have like a girlfriend's household that summer. And that was really awesome, because it's like, okay, finally I can move out of mom's house, be back on my own, live with my homegirls, and just be on my merry way. However, I just was doing exactly all the things that got me to where I was before. Is what I was doing. I was back into the just working a job that I didn't care about, um, partying 4 days out of the week, drinking all the time, doing drugs, hooking up with people I don't care for, just carefree behavior. And my friends were not able to see me, the true me, because they expected me to conform to the group mentality. My friend group had a very kind of like gang mentality in a sense, and I'm such an individual. I'm such a free spirit. I'm such a free thinker, and I question everything. So that dynamic, it wasn't healthy for me and it wasn't good for me. But as someone who needed to survive by having a tribe, having friends, like, I could conform or I could get kicked out of the tribe. So as a form of survival, I decided to conform, and because I love my friends, like I grew up with them, they're my people, like I don't want them to not like me. I want them to accept me. So I'm gonna go out and party, even if that's not what I really want to do right now. And I'm gonna go out drinking, and I'm gonna go do drugs, even though that's not really what I want to do right now. So just doing things to please the crowd rather than working on my business and staying focused on that, and not letting anyone or anybody's ideas deter me from what I knew what was best for me. So I got caught up. And anybody who knows what town I'm talking about, it's very easy to get caught up there. Very, very, very easy to get caught up into that lifestyle. Drugs, sex, and rock and roll. It's super easy. And me and my friend group, we were rowdy. Super, super, super rowdy girls. We did not necessarily have the best reputation in town. And we were just carefree about it. And I deep down, I definitely cared about it, but because I had other friends, other people around me who were just as crazy and excuse my language, but fuckless, they, I felt like I could just, hide in that group and get away with it. And little did I know that this kind of behavior and just falling off the track that I was developing for myself was going to sink me back into that lost, place of no sense of self. It's interesting in life how we have to relive cycles until we learn that we don't want to live this cycle anymore. So then we start to shift things to do things differently, so that cycle doesn't return into our lives. And so this was my first instant of becoming aware of how things cycle in and out of our lives until we make the changes we need to make for those cycles to end. And so that was the cycle, was getting back into the partying and the drugs and the fuckless behavior. So, working at the job in the warehouse and hanging out with my friends, it felt satisfactory enough. It felt satisfying enough at the time. Like, I had really nothing to complain about. I could pay my bills. I was still able to go on vacations. I was able to go to Miami, and then I planned a trip to Europe to visit my sister in London, so it's like I could still do things, but something was missing. I wasn't doing my artwork anymore. I stopped paying for my website, like my my web domain, and so that just went to S, so I no longer had my website anymore. And it's just like my art business got completely shoved aside, just completely thrown, in the back burner, never to be talked about again for a long time. And I noticed it at certain times, and I remember mentioning it, like saying it to my friends, like, I have goals, like, I have things I want to do. And I remember one of my friends just kind of like laughing and shaming me, like, what goals do you have? Like, ha ha ha, And it was just such an invalidating moment, to have someone who I consider a close friend, and they're just laughing at me when I'm trying to state that, hey, there are things that I want to do in life. I actually want to advance in life, and they almost made it seem like, oh, you're not going anywhere. Like, that's laughable. You're not going to advance in life at all. You're going to stay here with us forever, basically. So little things like that, which, I don't blame the people who do them, but at the end of the day, they're microaggressions. There is a bit of aggressiveness, passive aggressiveness in comments like that, and that those kinds of things can really like chip away at our self-esteem, And oftentimes we get comments like that from our friends, from our family, from our parents, from our partners, like, oh, you think you can do that? Pfft, all right, And it's just like, why can't you just believe in me? Like, why can't you just encourage me, So those are also tests in life, to determine it's kind of like to ask us, how bad do you want this? You're going to have people who oppose you, who won't believe in you, and they're going to be the people closest to you who won't believe in you. So how bad do you want this? That's how I see these circumstances, as tests to a degree, I didn't know it at the time. Instead, it came off as discouragement, and just it, like I said, it chipped away at my self-esteem. So then I'm feeling like, am I gonna have an art business? Like, can I do this? Am I capable? I don't have any support from my friends, So it was just starting to get, like, just this repetitive cycle again of just like work, party, hangover, work, party, hangover, fighting with friends, just it's a very surface, like, very surface life. There was no substance. It was no direction, basically. Again, no real purpose. Just getting by. Just floating by through life. And a lot of people around me were saying, like, you're so lucky. You have this great job. You're getting paid well. You have your, It's like on the outside it looks good, but I just feel so unfulfilled. Like, ain't nothing. I feel this emptiness again within me. Like, why? What is going on? So, it just, I don't know. So one day at work, there was this girl working that I had noticed. She was new, and I thought she was so cool, like, just observing her. Like, she was dressed really funky, and we worked at a fashion warehouse, so it was always just like a fashion competition in there. Everybody was always dressed to the nines and trying to impress or outdress everybody, and everyone tried to be with the times with fashion too. So whatever we would sell there or whatever was on trend, everyone was competing with each other in the fashion realm. And this girl came in, and she was just like, she didn't give an F. Like, I mean, I thought she was fashionable in her own way, but it was like super unique, like ripped fishnet tights and shorts and like funky hair colors and all this stuff. And I was like, that girl's hella cool. Like, I don't know why, but I liked that she didn't conform to what everybody else would do in that warehouse and in that setting. And that's what I noticed there. Just like in San Diego, this is an environment where if you don't conform, you will be rejected. You will be kicked out. It's like a clique. It's like a cult. Either act like everybody else or you're going to stick out like a sore thumb and you're just not going to be able to continue with the program. And so my initial, behavior in that space was to conform and be like everyone else and care about what you're wearing every day and all of that stuff. And when I met this girl, I was like, wow, like it kind of pulled me out of that headspace. Like, you don't have to worry about, like, why are you tripping about how a bunch of, your coworkers see you and how you're dressed. Like, you're at work, like, just worry about work. So it was cool. Like, me and this girl, we started to get to know each other, and we find out that we're both into similar spiritual stuff, and this was at the time where I was like curious about spiritual practices, and just what is that even, like, what is the spirit world, or what is all of that, and my mom was talking to me about certain things, so it was just amazing to meet this person who is on a similar wavelength as me. So that was really exciting. And through conversations, we got to know that we were on such a similar track with something that will have changed my life forever. So on that note, I will continue what that was in the next video. I hope everyone has a wonderful day.